Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about types of agriculture. My name is Miss Anuka Inkiru. Basically, we have two types of agriculture, which are the subsistence agriculture and the commercial agriculture. Subsistence agriculture is a type of agriculture that is mostly practiced in villages, whereby a farmer cultivates the soil and rear animals in order to produce food to feed his family members. In subsistence agriculture, the main aim of subsistence agriculture is for the farmer to provide food for his family and himself. Like I said earlier, it is usually practiced in villages where the farmer plants crops like cassava, yam, vegetables, and also rear animals like your goats and your fowls. Now let's talk about the characteristics of subsistence agriculture. One of the characteristics of subsistence agriculture is that it requires family labor. The farmer's family are the only ones that come to work on the farmer's farm. Another characteristic is that they usually operate on a small piece of land. The main aim of the farmer is to feed himself and his family. So the small piece of land where they operate, they plant little crops like cassava and okra. Another characteristic of subsistence agriculture is that the total yield from the farm is usually low. Since the family labor is the only people that comes to work on the farm, they make use of only family labor. Their yield is usually low. What they get out from the farm is usually low. The fourth one is that it requires small capital. The money they invest on the farm is usually very small. Another characteristic of subsistence agriculture is that farm records are not kept. They do not keep a record of the yield, what they get out from the farm. Even if they spend any money on the farm, they don't keep record. People come in and out of their farm. They don't keep record of people that comes and goes out. They don't keep record of the number of seeds that are planted. They don't keep record of the harvest from the farm. Another characteristic is that crude tools are used. They make use of your cutlass and your hoe. That is the only tool they use to work on the farm. They also practice mixed cropping. That means they practice planting of a crop, different types of crop on the same piece of land. They can plant cassava in that land. They can plant yam. They can plant vegetable. They also rear animals in that same piece of land, which is called mixed cropping. They plant the same different type of crop on a piece of land. Now let's go over to commercial agriculture. It's a type of agriculture that involves production of crops and rearing of animals in large quantities. The main aim of a commercial farmer is to make profit. That is the main aim. At the end of the day, he takes his agricultural produce to the farm and sells. That is the main aim of a commercial farmer, to make profit, to make gain. Let's talk about the characteristics of commercial agriculture. They practice their farming on a very large area of land, a very large piece of land. They have section for planting of crops. They have section for rearing of animals. Another characteristic is that monocropping. Mono means one. In this part of the farmland, they plant one crop. In another part, they plant one. They don't mix everything together, no. It's a farmland has one, another farmland has one. They can decide to plant cassava on this piece of land. They go to another piece of land, they plant yam. They come to this piece of land, they plant vegetables. They practice mono, planting of one crop on a piece of land. Skilled laborers are usually employed. They bring people from outside to come and work for them. Unlike the subsistence agriculture, where the farmer's family comes to the farm to work on the farm. In commercial agriculture, laborers from outside are the ones that will come and work, and they are being paid for their services, which makes production to be very high. the cost of production becomes very high, which is another characteristic. Cost of production in commercial agriculture is very high, and since the production is mainly for sales, their yield is always high, so they take everything to the market to sell. Another characteristics of commercial agriculture is that modern equipments are used. They make use of equipment like your ridgers, your harvesters, your tractor. They use all these to work on the farm, which makes production to be very, which makes the yield to be very high. And commercial agriculture is usually practiced by, and let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of subsistence agriculture. One of the advantages is that they make use of family labor. Their family members are the ones that comes to work for them on the farm, so they don't have to spend money in bringing laborers to come and work on their farm. Another advantage is that they make use of low capital. They don't need to put in too much money inside the farm. The little they put, they get out and feed their family. They also practice mixed cropping. They plant a crop, different types of crop on the same piece of land, which makes it easy to make use of that small piece of land which they have. They don't usually go out to rent land or I want to buy land for, no. That little one they have, they plant cassava, they plant yam, vegetables and pepper, everything inside that piece of land. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of subsistence agriculture. One of the disadvantages of subsistence agriculture is that crude tools are used, which makes their yield to be low. They only make use of hoe and cutlass, and at the end of the day, what they get out from the farm is usually very poor. They may plant cassava, and at the end of the day, they get very little, which they use to feed their family. Another disadvantage of subsistence agriculture is that most farmers are illiterate. They are not educated, so they cannot adopt modern farming equipment or techniques. If you give them a ridger or an harvester, a harvester now, they may not be able to use it since they don't know how to use it. The third one is that pests and diseases are not controlled. They don't know how to use insecticide. They don't use insecticides or herbicides, so at the end of the day, their crops are infested by pests and diseases. We also have a small piece of land is required. They have only a small piece of land, so they also practice. That is why they practice mixed farming. If they have large area of land, they can easily spread whatever they are planting. But since it is only small piece of land that they have, they use it to practice mixed cropping. Now let's go over to the advantages and disadvantages of commercial agriculture. One of the advantages of commercial agriculture is that it increases yield. When they plant different crops on different pieces of land, their yield becomes very high. What they get out from the farm is very, very high, and it encourages research work. Since they make use of skilled laborers who come to work on the farm, they can bring a soil scientist, a crop scientist, an animal scientist to come and work on the farm. They go out and make research on things that are needed on the farm, and at the end of the day, you find out that the yield becomes very high. We also have provision of cheap products. Since they operate on a very large scale, whatever they produce is cheap. When they are selling it out to the general public, or when they take it to the market, it becomes very cheap, since they are the ones that are producing those things on their own. We also have specialization of cheap products. In commercial agriculture, an animal scientist comes to the farm. A crop scientist comes to the farm, a soil scientist comes to the farm, and they take care of their different sessions, producing crops and rearing of animals in very large scale. At the end of the day, the products which they get from it are very cheap and they sell to the market. We also have provision of quality products. Since they are specializing in different areas, they provide products that are very high quality, products that are very high quality. Now let's talk about the disadvantages of commercial agriculture. One of the disadvantage, a bad thing about it is that the capital which is needed is very high. They need very large amount of money to start up. Unlike in subsistence agriculture where they can use very small amount of money. We also have inadequate storage and processing facilities. After production and they don't have where to keep their goods, it may spoil. At the end of the day, they will be at loss. Instead of making profit, they will be at loss. And processing facilities, if they cannot process that agricultural produce and take it to the markets in a raw form, they may not make enough money. They may not make a lot. They may not make money that as in they are supposed to make, unlike processing it themselves and taking it to the market to sell. The last is inadequate skilled manpower. They don't have people around to help to work on the farm. A lot of them must have, let's say people who go to the city to look for white collar job, some may not want to come and work on a farm. The last one is inadequate marketing channels. In agricultural marketing, they go through. Let's discuss the last one, which is inadequate marketing channels. In Nigeria, distribution channels for agricultural produce are very, very different. We have the retailer, the wholesaler, down to the local market, the international market, and all that. And if a commercial farmer does not have the right channels to distribute his or agricultural products, you find out that at the end of the day, a farmer makes loss and will not be able to get his or her money. So in distributing agricultural products, it has to go through the different marketing channels. Remember, we talked about the meaning of subsistence agriculture, the meaning of commercial agriculture. We also talked about the characteristics of subsistence and commercial agriculture, down to the advantage and the disadvantages. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.